The title race is finished in Germany. Freiburg drawing helps Munich get back on top. McLaren winners again, but is a rival team trying to blow the whistle on some illicit mechanics? And a remarkable scoreless inning streak from the Tokyo Dome will tell you the tale of Yori Yamasaki and the run that he's on this year. All this and more on this week's episode of the International Sports Report. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the International Sports Report. First one for the month of May 2025. And right as we are sitting down to record this, MG, we have a change in the top stories. Is it worthy of maybe changing the intro? No, I don't think so, because it's Alpine, and this was seeming like it was inevitable. But Oliver Oakes out as team principal, so too Jack Doohan as the number 2 driver of the Alpine in 2025. Franco Colapinto set to replace Doohan as the driver, and not really sure for how long, but there it is. Flavio Briatore will be replacing Oakes as team principal. So the real, and honestly, only question I have about this is, how long is this going to last?
Yeah.
Because Flavio is a notorious flake, a character, I grant him. I really enjoy it whenever he's here, but the question really is, how long is he going to be there? Is this serious? And who's going to replace him in 6 months after he goes on a bender? But we will see. So, Colapinto will be set to go when we return to action in 2 weeks' time at Imola. Naturally, we will be tackling what happened in Miami a little bit later on in the show. Do we have some hockey updates as well?
We do. We have our final hockey update of the 24-25 season in Europe.
Oh boy. All right, well, we're going to get straight to that when we wrap up with our top stories. But you just heard in the intro, we begin in Deutschland, a title victory for the most successful team in Germany, Bayern Munich, coming off of their first trophyless season since 2012. In 2024, they are back on top as champions of Germany. And they drew on Sunday versus Leipzig in a thrilling game, and I'm sorry to any of you out there who missed it, but it was 3-3, but Freiburg drawing with Leverkusen was what did it. So they get robbed of the opportunity to celebrate at home, and now they're going to have to start their guard of honor on the road, unfortunately. But there it is.
Because they've had so few opportunities to celebrate at home.
Oh, I know. Ain't it a shame for Bayern Munich? But good for Harry Kane and good for Eric Dyer. The minute they left Tottenham, they finally win trophies. So good for those lads. But there is our top story. Congratulations to Bayern Munich, champions of the Bundesliga in 2025. But staying in the world of racing, and the minute I saw this water bottle, I was so excited to talk about it.
Good.
A great comeback win for Oscar Piastri. Well, not really a comeback for Piastri, but a comeback 1-2 for McLaren, let's say, versus everybody at Miami on Sunday afternoon.
37 seconds.
It was absolute domination.
37 seconds.
Every minute of it, but news coming out, and I guess this wasn't necessarily last week that the investigation began, but it was comedified rather on Sunday Red Bull, according to several German publications, including Auto Motor und Sport, has used thermal imaging software to investigate why McLaren's brakes are seeming incredibly cool throughout the races so far this year. And the reaction has been, shall we say, lighthearted and comical from most other
Yeah.
teams. A tip of the cap to Toto Wolff of Mercedes saying that this investigation is not the right attitude. And I quote from Red Bull, and that he has no doubt that the car is legal. But of course,
Yeah.
you can see it in the thumbnail of this video. Zach Brown was also photographed in Miami on Sunday, drinking from a water bottle cheekily labeled tire water.
Yep.
In
And
a
I have
delicious FU to McLaren.
yes.
To
Oh,
Red Bull.
it's excellent. I did see a report from the FIA that they have already investigated the brakes and found nothing.
What do you know about that? It's fabulous engineering, as we saw by, what was that number again? 37
37
seconds. Oy vey. So,
I mean, just unbelievable. That is a rocket.
yeah, it is. It is a rocket. We're gonna dig into it properly here in a little while. But my goodness, the pettiness from Red Bull is just spectacular. I love it.
yeah.
I've always said Christian Horner is evil, and here is my proof. But we end the news in baseball. A congratulations, another one in fact, to Yori Yamasaki, who last Wednesday extended his scoreless inning streak that he has begun the 2025 season for the Yomiuri Giants to 35 innings, breaking the record set in 1963 by Etsuo Nakai and the record equaled by Shoki Murakami of, in a delicious bit of irony, the Hanshin Tigers, both of whom had a streak of 31 scoreless innings. So a nice moment for Yamazaki and Giants fans last Wednesday. But there are your top stories of the week. Without much further ado, let's see how all the games of the week turned out from last week.
Beginning as always in the Premier League, title race wrapped up there, of course, but Man City versus Wolves. Man City wins 1-0, City won that one fair and square, just enough effort, no less, 60% possession, 8 shots, 1 goal, courtesy of Kevin De Bruyne, in what may very well be his final goal in Sky Blue. In the Netherlands, though, the title race a little bit more interesting there. Sittard versus PSV last week, PSV wins 4-1. PSV knows the shot that they have, knocking Ajax off the perch, as they put in a fiery, passionate performance at home over Sittard. Hat-trick for Ivan Perisic and 1 more from speed-beating Noah Long to remove any doubt. They're down 4 points with 3 matches to play. 1 loss and 1 Ajax win to seal the title. Lecce versus Napoli in Serie A. Napoli wins 1-0. The defense holds, weathering 9 shots and 5 corners, but Napoli never really looked like they were in any danger at all. Giacomo Raspadori finds the net to get them an early lead, and now they're setting the pace at the top of the table. Inter 1-2, however, so it looks like Napoli are going to hold them off, hopefully, for their sakes anyway, for about 3 games. In Germany, of course, we mentioned the title for Munich, but that match between Leipzig itself was quite a crazy one. It ended level 3-3. It started out nervy for Bayern. Benjamin Sesko and Lucas Wilstermann give Red Bull an early 2-0 lead, making Bayern's prospects bleak. Eric Dyer and Michael Olsen knotted up at 2 within 60 seconds of each other in the 62nd minute, and Leroy Sané blows the roof off the Allianz Arena with the 83rd minute goal to give them the lead, and it looked like that might be it, but at the death, minute 95, Yusuf Poulsen gets a third for Red Bull to tie it up yet again and delay the title only for 1 day, and they're going to be awarded the title on the road into baseball, CBL Weekend Series, Dragons and Monkeys. Dragons won the Weekend Series for 2 games to 1. Waitron breaks through for 2 runs in extras to finish 5-3. Game 1, Monkeys sweep 3-2 in Game 2 after taking the lead 4 runs in the last 2 innings. Again, the same Monkeys in the series. 2 of those runs came from big homers by Lee Hall. And in Korea, the Series again, Tigers 2 wins in a Sendai. In Game 2, though, Buffalo's got 11 hits, scoring 7 times off of Takahisa Hayakawa, including a homer from Kota Kurabayashi. I don't really expect a whole lot of power coming from him that year. He's wrong. 2 hits from Yukiro Sugimoto. The Eagles get revenge in Game 3, though, with a 14-run, 20-hit performance from Taki Kishi, with a solid 5 innings of work, homer from Toshiaki Abe, and an incredible 4-hit, 5 RBI performance from center fielder Daisuke Nakashima, ending the series in a split. Here's how the standings are looking as we are recording this on the 6th of May. The Hanshin Tigers lead in Central League, but they are just a game in front. The Youngula Giants will shoot behind DNA Stars 2.5 behind the Cardinals. Buffalo's in the lead by a game, only one game fighting for the Rakuten Eagles and Sabre Lions are neck and neck in that 3rd spot, even at 500. The Hawks have looked a little bit better recently, but the Marines have not. They are last to the KBO. We go. No change at the top of the table. Of course, the LG Twins remain in front, 23 wins, 13 losses for them. But they are now joined at the top by who on earth would have guessed it? The Hanwha Eagles. Identical record with 8 of their last 10. Phenomenal run for the perennial bottom feeders. The new stadium is really different. But the Giants also coming in to take 3rd place. We'll see if they can keep their run this week. Lions and Wiz, respectively, not a whole lot of things. Bottom in the 3rd baseball league. Coming on this channel up in the top spot. This is the only Lions remain. They are in the lead by 2 games over the Ridgeline Dragons, who continue to hold their solid 4th place in the same as the Taiwan is front. 3rd in Guardians, not too close. The Guardians and Hawks for 5th. It's easy to see that changing anytime soon. 1st half Premier League table, largely irrelevant at this point as the Reds have locked the title up in full on Chelsea. There might be a little bit of a shake-up going to the top of the table, but not a whole lot, and the Arcadian relegation team on 16th of that. They're too busy standings. It's more consequential. I am trained, but we mentioned a moment ago, just 4 points ahead of Beyond Novan, playing order, effect, right now, just on Serie A, tight at the top. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th places is looking like it might be a bloodbath towards the end of the season. All the way going down to 9th, honestly, in Milan. Now, AC Milan's not taking 3rd place, but they could very least shuffle things up in the 4, 5, 6 range with Juventus. Lazio all gaining for that last spot, series of spots rather. Top 4 Bundesliga, not yet again another title wrapped up there for Bayern. Leverkusen look like the comfortable 2nd place position. Things getting a little interesting in those 3rd and 4th and 5th spots. Dortmund's really great. Not Freiburg off these last few games. And Frankfurt, for now, safe in 3rd. Set. Well, the final table of the episode brings us to driver standings for 1 after into that imminently after our games of the week for the 1st week of May. Oscar Piastri in front after another dominant victory on Miami. Certainly great comeback drive from Lando Norris to make it a little better, to much to the chagrin of Max Verstappen in 3rd. George Russell, Charles Leclerc, rapid top 5. What about top 5? Charles got a little bit of let's bring up our games of the week. Getting in the Premier League, it's a meaningless game, but the Guard of Honor has already been spoiled once in the capital, so let's do that. I hope Arsenal will look to get saltiness out and try to give another go. Let's on Sunday from York, London, Ajax and Nijmegen in Eredivisie. Ajax has seen their lead shrink very fast after a bad run of form would stumble into be within 1 point, falling off the top step. Just 2 games left to play after this weekend is even wild as Feyenoord Sunday morning at 8:30. In Serie A, Napoli and Genoa leaders to the spotlight yet again this weekend. Aside for Napoli, they will have back on Reno to try to cause them to stumble and seal their title. In Germany, Munich and Mönchengladbach. We'll see how the title winners fare against the Mönchengladbach team this year. And then 3 weekend series in the baseball leagues of note. Stars and what Central League for MVP. 3 of the best pitchers in the league for Yokohama. And the Andre Jackson. Awesome all of them ERAs time is 6th May. They take a great hitting club team. Sure to see Kane comes to Kono. Fun one. Sure. The Giants win. Giants third after recently. Reyes getting more than awesome. It's largely West. Battle of wisdom on the and then finally, in Taiwan, Lions and Guardians. First place Lions with the Dragons keeping pace look to hold fast against a Guardians team struggling in all areas. But you can take, or you can't rather, take any ball game for granted. So, those are your games of the week for the week of May the 6th. Let's talk racing.
All right. Time to tuck into Miami. You've heard us raving about the numbers because they do speak for themselves. 37 seconds. One more dang time. Oscar Piastri is the truth. He is the way.
He's incredible.
So cool.
And McLaren over 100 points in the lead on the constructors so far this season. And after what, 5-6 races?
And Lando Norris being not great. Lando Norris, continuously, seemingly getting into his own way. It was an impressive drive. It must be said.
Very good finishes from Lando.
Sure.
Every race this season.
But terrible starts.
Yes, terrible starts.
Heinous starts. Like, what is... yet again, we ask the question of what is going on in his head. Does he have... And I don't really... I hesitate to say this. This is normally just a baseball term, but I suppose it happens in other athletes too. But... And again, the other reason I hesitate to bring this word up is second place is good. He executes everything else so well. But is it possible to have start? YIPS? I don't know. I don't know.
It could be. And
I'm scared even spelling it out, but
yeah.
Still.
No, I hear you on that. Yeah, but he won the sprint, right?
He did.
Yes, thoughts. I know it was a McLaren 1-2 again. So.
And ultimately, at least at the top of the table, that was all that matters. And, it's starting to seem like a broken record at this point in terms of our coverage because, this has been McLaren's year so far. But speaking of a broken record, yet again, we must ask ourselves, was Max Verstappen over the line into corner number 2, yet again causing another stir with the stewards? And my goodness, when does it end? Was he over the line?
I think he was. I think that's the he was being overtaken, and he once again boxed out his opponent in a questionably legal fashion, as Verstappen is very prone to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he got very lucky avoiding another penalty. And I think the FIA needs to institute harsher penalties for actions like this, because why would you not take the 5 or 10 second penalty and have clean air for the first 20 or so laps?
Sure. Yeah, it is a valid point, and I don't think you're alone in that assessment of the situation. I'm actually going to take a contrary point to you on this and side with the commentary team I think that that was in a rare instance, a broken clock is right twice a day, and that was, I mean, as you said, questionably legal. I agree with you on that, but it was clean racing. It was a gutsy move from Max, and I think if I was in the steward's box, I would have given that to him. But
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's completely fair. It was very
it's
borderline.
really close. It's
Very
really, really
borderline.
close. Either way, this way of racing is as fun as it is for Max, I'm sure. And I'll grant this to him. It is fun to watch, but he needs to find a way to win races that isn't more akin to Dick Dastardly and wacky races. It's getting a
Yes.
little silly from Max right now that we're talking about this every single week.
Yep.
And Red Bull is still having trouble finding a way onto the podium because yet again, they came up short. I don't know.
Yep.
So tell us in the comments what you thought if you watched the race. Was Max over the line going into corner two? And I mean, are you with him at this point? Do you like his style? Is it still working for you? And does he really need to make a change? Or no? Other talking points. We talked about when was Carlos Sainz going to break out? That time is now. He is here. Williams is here.
Williams
Williams
has
has
been
arrived.
very, very nice. This very quietly nice this season.
Yeah, it's a snappy machine on the right circuit, and we know that Carlos is a fan of towing, and he and Albon really had that mojo working throughout that race, and that finish probably could have been a little bit higher if they'd have gotten their butts into gear a little earlier than they
Yeah,
did.
I think a couple finishes could have been higher if Butts had gotten into gear when they should have.
Well, to be sure, but I mean, I'll single them
And
out, but just for an
I know we're
excellent
getting
race.
to one of them.
Yes. An excellent drive from Williams. Lewis Hamilton, yet again,
That's
has fallen off the map.
I knew we were gonna get to him.
An awful, awful drive from the many-time world champion. And this is it's silly. It's silly right now. I mean, all this money and all this hullabaloo about him getting into this machine, and he just doesn't really seem like he's got a handle on it at all.
And what is Ferrari's strategy this season? I don't know how much of the box dialogue you listen to between
Oh, plenty.
Hamilton and the Ferrari
Plenty.
team, but what
It's
are they
heated.
thinking?
It's heated. And I mean, at a certain point,
Yeah,
you have to listen to your drivers, and it doesn't really
and-
seem like they do that. Yes, they have the technical readouts in front of them in the paddock, but you have to listen to the drivers
yeah.
because they're the ones
And
out there.
I forget who he was talking about, but I remember the box the pit crew told Hamilton that he had a driver about a minute and a half behind him, and the fact that Lewis Hamilton is driving for you, and he says you want me to let him pass too.
I don't know.
There's some frustration happening at Ferrari, and how much of it is Lewis? How much of it is Ferrari?
A real
Is my
question.
question.
A real question. And is this a one season long breaking point, or is it maybe something more akin to, this is something that's been going on for years. This kind of up its own behind Ferrari way kind of situation where it just doesn't really seem like they're able to get the best out of anybody. And
No.
so when is this going to change? And is Lewis Hamilton going to suffer for it? But finally, we talked a lot about the Cadillac reveal, and we got a logo.
We sure got a reveal
We got a
of
logo.
a blacked out Cadillac logo with F1 Racing Team.
Ugh. And just a bunch of snooze fest speeches with a bunch of celebrities and the logo.
Yeah,
No car,
very,
no lineup, no nothing.
yeah.
Not even a livery. It's pathetic.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Terrible. It's terrible waste of all of our time.
yep, too right you are. Too right you are. But Imola next. I don't really care for it. It doesn't really seem like it's a track that really does well in today's F1. That might just
Yeah.
be me like still mourning Senna. But I admit
I I'm already looking forward to next season's cars. I gotta be honest, with the shorter wheelbase, they're gonna have a shorter wheelbase. The rules are gonna be the formula's changing. I'm more interested in next season than I am this one at this point. It just seems like a foregone conclusion. I would
well,
love to be proven wrong. Well, as a new McLaren supporter, I would not love to be proven wrong, but it just there's very little exciting about the rest of this season.
well, the last thing I'll say on this is, well, for one thing, you're definitely not alone in your assessment of this season. I think you should probably be the team principal of Alpine. But my wife is now a Mercedes stan because she loves George Russell.
Fair.
And you know what? The man has been quietly having an excellent season, and I'm gonna give it a hot take here. Simmer on this, marinate on this. They are the true title challengers for McLaren.
Oh, I completely agree. I just 100 points after 6 races. I can't see it
It's
happening.
a little bit of a reach of a challenge, I grant you, but still. Anyway,
But they
we'll see
are
how it pans out.
absolutely the competition.
Yes, yes,
They
yes.
are your
Mercedes
number
on the
two team of
rise.
this season.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're gonna make it a snappy episode here, coming towards the end of our time together. But before we go, let's get our final hockey update of 2025. Lay it on us, MG.
Yes, so Kalpa defeated Saipa 4 games to 2 to claim the Canada Bowl in the Finnish Liga.
The Canada Bowl?
Um, The Canada Bowl, yes, it was donated to Liga by, or the precursor league, whose name I cannot remember at the moment, but it was donated by Canada's Finnish population
Ha! I like that.
to Finland.
I like that.
And so it is named the Canada Bowl. They have claimed the final Champions Hockey League position for the 2025-26 season. So we will have many, many updates on that. Probably a nice deep dive on our competition as we get closer to the start date for them.
Oh
So
yeah, he's
we've got a
already doing
long
his
summer
research,
of very
viewers.
little hockey, but much to look forward to.
Yes, and we got a long summer ahead, not to worry. All right, that's going to bring our time together to a close, making things a snappier episode this week. But next week, we will have our look at a history lesson from NPB past. We'll be looking at the toughest roles in all of sports. And
Looking
finally,
forward to that one.
we're going to be examining all of our favorite Olympic sports as well as we look ahead
Yes.
towards the Winter Olympics of 2026. So that should be fun. So, without much further ado, I'm going to send you on your way. You are now fully caught up in the wide world of sports thanks to us. Please do like and share this video if you enjoyed it and you know somebody who would enjoy it right along with you. And make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon down below the video screen to be notified every single time we upload a new video. You're not going to want to miss a moment. Exciting stuff coming down the pipe. For Matthew Giesecke, I've been Marshall Emmert. Thank you very much for watching this episode of the International Sports Report. We'll see you in the next one. But for now, it's the game.